decided you want more, but there are a couple of things holding you back. Worrying about STIs, feeling self-conscious or shy, or maybe your period is bumming you out. But then you find latex undies that solve all of those problems. They're ultra thin, so you can feel everything through them. And they're great for so you can try that out too. But how do you talk to your partner about it? Having conversations with your partner about you're trying to do something new, whether that's trying a new activity, or it's trying out a new toy, or it's about trying out different types of protection in the bedroom, can be a bit of a challenge. Even if you are the best communicator in the world, you're talking it can be a little bit awkward, and that's a normal part of having a relationship. So we're going to break it down for you step by step on how to talk to your partner about using Lorals. And the good thing about this is a lot of these things are transferable to other conversations you want to have with your partner, whether it's a sex or it's about some other relationship thing that you're interested in talking about. We're going to go through everything step by step together. That includes starting the conversation off on the right foot by creating a safe and happy environment for you and your partner to talk about this, which is setting the stage for the conversation, to almost exactly what you're going to say, to examples of what you can actually say to your partner, depending upon whether you're the giver or the receiver, and what exactly you want to talk to your partner about related to oral. For receivers who want more oral but are hesitant about receiving. For receivers who want more oral but have a hesitant partner, so maybe your partner is a little bit uncomfortable going down on you and you want to talk about how Lorals can help you both get more oral. For people who want to give more oral but their partners are not really comfortable receiving oral, how do you talk to them about the fact that you want to give them more pleasure? Also for givers who hesitate about giving oral, maybe you don't like fluids, maybe you don't like the texture, maybe you don't like the scent. Something we should all be talking about more because your comfort matters too. And of course, givers and receivers who are worried about STIs. First things first, it's how do you make sure that both of you feel comfortable? The number one answer to this question is have the conversation outside of the bedroom. Don't try to have this conversation while you're in bed in the middle of getting it on or getting ready to get it on. Having the conversation out of the bedroom where you're both clothed can really take a lot of the pressure off of the conversation both on you and on your partner. And it'll give you both an opportunity to connect and talk honestly about what you want without the idea that you have to do it right now. Start with positivity. Always coming from a place of positivity when it comes is a good thing. You are talking to your partner about this because you want to them. You want to either bring them more pleasure or have more pleasure with them and be connected and close to them in a way that maybe you're not feeling right now, but you're really excited about feeling in the future. That helps both you and your partner keep a focus on the future and positive things that you want, rather than the idea that something is wrong right now. So make it clear to them you love enjoy the pleasure that you experience together, but there is this one thing that you think would be interesting to try. Also, if you are the type of person who isn't really comfortable with in-person conversations or wants a little bit of time to kind of think about everything that you're going to say and respond with, then it might be a good idea to take a step back and actually do a text or email conversation where you're able to think and put your ideas down before you send them or before you say them. One tip that is really, really great and really helpful is to start a conversation with kind of an open-ended text or message. Basically, the statement, "This is interesting," with a link to a TikTok or an article or an Instagram post or even just a website can be really helpful in just starting a conversation without expectations. So if you're really interested in getting you're not really sure about that conversation with your partner, then you could also just scroll down our TikTok feed, find a TikTok about and send it to your partner saying, "This is interesting." That way, when your partner responds, you can gauge the best way to continue that conversation. Now let's move on to specific situations. For receivers who want to receive more oral but are hesitant about receiving, 87% of women have turned down oral at some point in their lifetime. Maybe that's because they are sensitive, maybe they're shy, maybe they're on their period. There are a lot of different reasons. It's really common, but we don't have to do that anymore. If this is you, one of the best ways that you can talk to your partner about this is just be honest with them. Tell them what has you hesitating. Being a little bit vulnerable and acknowledging that these are some of the hesitations that you have can be really helpful for both you and your partner to be really encouraging in the future and find ways of making it work for both of you. Here are a couple of things that you could say. Sometimes you'll try to go down on me and I will wave it off, or I'll try and move us to a different type of activity. I really love oral and I really love when you go down on me. But sometimes I'm worried about X. But I really do love when you go down on me and I'd love to do it more often. I found these really cool latex undies. They are super thin and super sexy, and I would love to try them out sometime with you. It can be a really good opportunity to remind your partner that you really like them and you really like having and you want to have more Now for receivers who want more oral, but their partner is hesitant. People who are uncomfortable giving oral might not like the fluids or the taste or the texture. They also might have previous experiences or trauma that might be causing them to be a little bit uncomfortable. But that doesn't mean they don't also love making you feel good. So having a calm, non-judgmental conversation about what actually makes them uncomfortable about oral is the most important first step. Again, making sure that your partner knows that you love them, you love being close to them and connecting to them, and oral is a big part of that for you. And using that as a jumping off point, you can then say, hey, I found this really cool product. It's super thin latex underwear. They're so thin that you can feel everything through them, but it blocks all of the fluid and the texture, so we can enjoy this all together. Would you like to try them with me? I think it'd be a lot of fun. Making sure that all of this is low pressure and you're giving them space to kind of figure out what's comfortable for them. And keep in mind, this might just be the first conversation that you have about Lorals or about general. So it's a starting point, and then you talk about it more. For givers who want to give more oral, but your partner is feeling a little uncomfortable about receiving. Receiving oral can feel a little bit exposed and vulnerable. So for a lot of people, it might be a little uncomfortable initially. And again, they might be turning down oral for any of the many different reasons that we've talked about before. So one of the most important things that you can do as a partner who wants to give more oral is consistently reassure them that you want to be giving them pleasure, and that anything that you do is without expectation, without pressure, and you can take it slow. A really simple way to start this is by just acknowledging it and saying, hey, sometimes it seems like you're a little uncomfortable with oral. I want you to know that I want you to experience pleasure and I want to give you pleasure. I would love to talk more about that. And I came across this really cool product. They're called Lorals. They're super thin latex undies. They give you a little bit of coverage if you want. They can be in black or they can be in sheer. If or when you're comfortable, I would love to try them out with you. For a giver who hesitates on going down, a lot of people love giving their partners pleasure, but they're not comfortable giving oral. Like I said, issues with fluid or texture is a really common thing, but being open and vulnerable with your partner about that can be a really good connecting point. And telling them that you want to make them find a way to make is even better. Starting out with, hey, I found this product. They are latex underwear. I think you'd look really hot in them, and I really want to make not always comfortable with oral, but I think this would be a fun way for us to explore together if you want to try them out with me. And finally, if you're using Lorals for STI protection and you want to talk to your partner about that, here's a couple of places to start. Telling a new partner, I always use STI protection during. For oral, I use Lorals. Then you can show them how hot they look on and ask them if they want to use them with you. And if you already know you have an STI, just having an open conversation with your partner is a good place to start. I want to be upfront with you and let you know that I do have this STI and it is transmissible through oral, so I always use protection. My favorite protection is Lorals, and I would love to use them with you. Talking about sex things can be a little bit awkward, but it can also be a lot of fun.